Enemies dying is music to Robin's ears, and today I'm gonna tell you how to build her best. Let's get into it. Our Songbird's best in slot set will be 2-piece attack percent along with 2-piece attack percent. Yes, her best in slot is literally a mix and match combo. This makes it a dream to build adequate substats on her and contributes heavily to her buffing. 2-piece attack percent along with 2-piece physical percent is another viable Robin pick. Some attack percent to aid her buffing quality and phys percent for the sake of her own damage. It'll also perform pretty solidly. 2-piece hacker space is quite conditional and depends on if you're trying to achieve a specific amount of speed on Robin. We'll delve into that soon. Don't bother with 4-piece hacker space, it's only ever going to be useful in extremely niche scenarios. It'll mess with your action order at certain speed points. Champion of Streetwise Boxing is another decent choice, best for her personal DPS thanks to the physical damage bonus. Know that the attack percent stacks will take a hot minute to max out since Robin's own stacks don't count towards the 4-piece. It's kind of hellish to farm though and will be harder to get ideal subs on. Best 2-pieces include Fleet of the Ageless and Space Stealing Station. Fleet will be better since it has team-wide effects. 2-piece Vonwonk works too. The ER and advanced forward does have its value if you want to ult on Robin's second turn. You could chase 180 speed, which would have you some very low cycle clears. This will get Robin behind your DPS's first action as opposed to their second action, but my gosh, that is a ton of effort to be putting into substat fishing for a unit who really doesn't need it. You can still zero cycle without it. 2-piece Penacony works, but it's fairly niche. It'll work for physical DPS based teams. Main stats are simple, go for attack percent, ERR percent, or attack percent, damage percent, ERR percent. Speed boots depend entirely on your setup. Attack will be better almost all of the time. As for how much speed you need, 117 speed to have Robin hit twice in a cycle, 120 speed to hit 2-piece relic requirements, and 121 speed to outspeed 160 speed allies. Don't go above 121, you could accidentally reset Concerto, and more speed will not give you an extra ult, and Robin is usually locked at snail tier speeds of 90 anyway. Note that you don't need to worry about building crit stats, because her damage will always be locked at a 100 to 150% ratio. Ratio mentioned? As for substats, aim for 3.5k plus attack, 121 speed is the best in all scenarios, and other stats are entirely optional. Now what about our Hellovian Singer's light cones? First up, her signature. She gains stacks from this and plenty of ER, obviously best in slot, and once you ult, a new buff is gained. Robin gets a bunch of attack percent, which in turn converts into some solid team buffing and damage percent. And right after her ult, it starts stacking again. So it's 15% ER you've got between your two Robin ults. Sick light cone for her, makes the pop star super comfy to use. Bronya's light cone is another sublime pick. You get high base stats for Robin's buffing and some ER for her, plus some free skill points. An excellent secondary substitute to her signature. Wanmei's light cone works for its base stats as well, but keep in mind that all the break effect based mechanics have no value on her. For Tomorrow's Journey is viable too, but it's more focused on Robin's personal DPS. She does still get a substantial amount of attack though. This will be the best bet for you free-to-plays out there, since it'll be free this patch. However, Memories of the Past is viable too. Not great since the break effect is useless, but ER is ER, free real estate. Meshing Cogs is also quite strong for a dirt cheap choice. Robin's personal DPS will suffer, but it's great for gathering energy. You'll usually be using Robin's skill constantly though, even with her buff up, since you want to get her burst back ASAP. But what you can consider is that you may be able to save some skill points with this light cone. And who are Robin's biggest fans ready to dance alongside her? Well, Robin enjoys being paired with DPSs that attack pretty frequently. Both of the hot IRS members are greatly appreciated by her, and so is Mr. Handsome Math Teacher. Not to mention Sweet Clara and Big Robot Man are also an ideal synergy. Follow-up attackers in general love Robin since she can pop them some nice extra crit damage. Don't be fooled, this doesn't mean Robin is follow-up attack only. She's got one heckin' flexible kit. And you know what else is flexible? Her vocal range. Damn, this girl can sing. An example team would be a Dr. Ratio Topaz combo, since they love the big attack percent buff. They cast a ridiculous amount of follow-up attacks with the hot IRS duo turning into literal follow-up attacking machines. Bronya is a great harmony to pair with Robin thanks to how their advancement works. Belobog's grandmother advances your DPS once, then Robin can do so again, and cue the incredible steamroller once more. A Sparkle on low speed can do this as well, but the result won't be as impressive. Sparkle has to be slow since she'll waste her advance forward. Robin is also incredible in any dual DPS setup, for example the Himiko-Herdo combo, or the Black Swan Kafka duo. Note that she isn't the best of Blade, however, 50k DPS is still unreachable for him. Robin herself also deals more damage than the average sub DPS, meaning that adding her to a team is a triple DPS setup in of itself. Robin's teams are simply every team in the game, put her anywhere, hyper carry, follow-up attacks, DOT, dual carry, and she will function. Once again, all as long as you're not Mr. Unreachable. If you're wondering how she stacks up versus the other Harmonies in terms of competition, well, against Bronya and Sparkle and Hypercomps, Robin loses. Granted, like I said earlier, just pair them together, but Bronya and Sparkle are built to buff hyper carries. Robin is still a valid choice over them and is far more flexible. You'd choose Robin over the other two if you were interested in greater comfort, but evaluate the different kinds of comfy each Harmony can give. Remember that Sparkle provides a crap ton of skill points to your whole comp. Against Ruan-Mei, Robin will outdamage Ruan-Mei's breaks pretty easily. In terms of replacing Cat Abandoner for the Concert Lady, well, if you have enough skill points and constantly use Black Swan and Kafka's skills, Robin is actually a pretty significant increase to that team. But if you use Black Swan's basics every once in a while, then their performance is a little more similar with Robin just edging out. Using Ho-Ho also means more Robin ults. Note that Robin is a godsend towards DOT teams as well, because plus 1000 attack is huge no matter what way you look at it, so whatever you lose with Ruan-Mei not being there is adequately compensated for. Keep in mind that both Ruan-Mei and Robin are splendid in dual DPS comps. They can both replace each other, so if you missed out on Ruan-Mei the first time, Robin will serve as an ideal replacement. As for Robin problems, she can kill steal, stealing energy from your other teammates, or snatching resurgences from Zilla. But Robin buffs your DPS so much anyways that you don't really have to worry about this being a problem. Also, why are you still playing Zilla in May 2024? Okay, but how does this little songbird operate? Well, her basics are very basic. A little bit of physical damage. Let's move on from them. Her skill is more interesting. It increases the damage dealt by everyone for 3 turns, and every time Robin gets a turn, the duration goes down by 1. This is part of why we like a slow Robin. Then for her ultimate. She enters the Concerto state and will have all her teammates immediately move. Everyone gets an attack increase based on Robin's own attack, and she'll deal extra physical damage based on her own attack one time. Her crit stats are fixed at 100% to 150% in this state. During her ult, Robin doesn't take any turns and can't get crowd controlled. There's also a little countdown timer of how long Concerto lasts on the action order. She'll be fixed at 90 speed in this state. Her talent is really solid. She'll increase all allies' crit damage, and once allies attack enemy targets, Robin regains 2 energy. Her technique converts all enemies around her into fangirls and fanboys for the next 15 seconds. They'll follow her around without hitting her. When you enter battle with this up, you'll get 5 energy back on Robin at the start of each wave. Wave means new group of enemies. As for Ascension passives, her A2 advances forward Robin by 25% at the start of a battle. Good stuff. Her A4 gives all follow-up attacks dealt by allies 25% more crit damage. IRS! Go, go, go! And Robin's A6 provides her with 5 energy every time she uses her skill. Chase priorities are easy. Every aspect of her kit is important, but really prioritize that ult of her since it's the main meat of her kit. Her skill and talent are equally as busted in my opinion. Her basics will be less emphasized as you'd rather focus on skilling as often as you can with her. Concert tickets are expensive as heck, but you know what's even more costly? Robin's Eidolons. She buffs everyone's all-type res pen by 24%, pretty good E1. This E1 is excellent if you want better damage buffing out of your Songbird. If you're wondering whether you should go for S1 or E1, I would say it depends on your goal. S1 provides Robin with a more comfortable playstyle, and E1 offers better damage buffing. For those wondering, having both E1, S1, or Robin is insane. She has a fantastic early investment path that all those dolphins in the sea should totally consider. Every ally gets a 16% speed increase, which is fantastic for those teams which benefit from that. Also, she gains another talent stack. Great E2, and is excellent for those teams where you have a super high need for speed. Just keep in mind that if you go this route, remember to speed tune your teams appropriately so that your regular rotations don't get totally bamboozled. Her skill and ult get upgraded by +2. Absolutely excellent. It's good that they put most of her important traces down to upgrade at E3. So far, all of Robin's Eidolons have been a fairly high value, cool increase to her buffing if you're interested. And wow, these Eidolons just keep getting better. Seriously, all these broken harmonies out here are having fantastic high investment paths. Let's have a look. This expands her role from being solely a harmony to having some preservation-like qualities. Increasing the whole team's effectiveness by 50% is incredible. Pair that with Aventurine and Kafka's domination will fly right over your heads, essentially turns your team into a whole lot of chads. Plus, she dispels all crowd control debuffs currently on your allies whenever she ults. Pretty good E4, but not necessary. I would say that if you're a low spender, E3 is a good stopping point because this is getting superfluously good. And you'll have a defensive option in your team already anyway. Only go past E3 if you're interested in expanding Robin's roles on your teams. If you're wondering whether this sort of thing is worth saving for on its own, or is more of a pick it up on the way to E6 kind of deal, I would say it's good on its own, but don't sweat getting it. It's a freaking E4. Upgrades are basics and talents by +2. The basic upgrade doesn't matter much, but having the talent upped by a small bit is fairly decent. Get this on the way to E6 only, no need to pick it up on its own. This turns Robin into a monster. A ton of buffs to her own damage, and you can definitely consider her DPS tier at this point. Obviously it's good, it's an E6. It turns Robin into a highly effective jack-of-all-trades type of character. Fantastic Eidolon, but this will cost you both your liver, the price of a scalped concert ticket on eBay, and the cost of a scalped PS5 during 2020. Low spenders and free-to-plays with a ridiculous amount of dedication to saving. Listen up. Prioritize E1 or S1 based on whatever you value more, then pick up the one that you didn't get before. And if you want to keep investing in Robin, then pick up Eidolons up until E3, E4 if you care for the defensive utility, then I'd stop. Otherwise, go all the way to E6 at that stage. Robin is a melodic masterpiece of a unit, easily one of the strongest new units in the game. Star Rail went all out on the harsh power creep. I definitely recommend her if you want a strong all-rounder who's both free-to-play and high-investment friendly that can fit in any team you desire. This doesn't mean that all your old harmonies are suddenly bad, since she can work pretty nicely alongside them, or can act as a great substitute to the ones that you don't already have. Truly, Hoyoverse, you cooked with this cute unit. Hopefully this guide was able to help your Robin sing the finest victory songs, now that you've learned how to crush her enemies. This has been Juice, signing out, and as much as I find Robin absolutely adorable, Venti is still the cuter songbird. Peace.